Hello everyone and welcome to a special episode of Hooked on Sports Golf Edition. Today we take you to the Glenelg Golf Club as it reopens to members and guests following an historic renovation. Sophie, Wallace and I spent 2 days at Glenelg with General Manager Vincekovic and course designer Neil Crafter of Golf Strategies, who worked on the architecture with Golf SA Hall of Famer Bob Tuohy. Our episode is an immersive insight into the work at Glenelg from initial concepts 5 years ago to the striking finish there for us to witness now. For more information, check out the show notes or the club website. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. We are at the Glenelg Golf Club where we have seen an incredible 4-year redevelopment. Vincekovic is their General Manager. Rob, you must be so satisfied with what you've created.
So happy with how it's turned out. It's been a long 4 years. The members have been patient, but the results speak for themselves and everyone's been super happy since we opened in December.
Just tell us a little bit about who's been involved in the redevelopment here.
Yeah, so it's a big team effort, obviously, over 4 years. Tim Warren and the course superintendent and the course team, they've been amazing. Adam Fry's joined us recently from Tuohy and he's done an amazing job for us. Bob Tuohy and Ryan van der Veen, they joined Neil Crafter, our architect, and they've worked really well together. Ryan on the ground, Neil Crafter coming in, and Bob Tuohy overlooking the work as well. Through the development, everyone's had their time over the 4 years. Committee played a big role. Paul Gander, our course chairman through the whole project. Paul Groom is our captain, and we've had another couple of captains with Imelda and Greg through the process. So, big job. Everyone's done an amazing work. Big team effort.
You got a favourite hole? I know that you're not strictly speaking a golfer, but one you like the most?
I really like 13, the way 13's turned out, and that's matured now. That was one of our first holes, and that's settled in and matured. So, love 13. I love the drive in. You would have seen as you came in today, the 9th green and the sleeper wall. So that's been a bit of a feature when people drive in and they all talk about the 9th green, and it's pretty cool.
Sophie Hilditch is the golfing expert at Hooked on Sport. Soph, you haven't seen this course for a little while. You must be looking forward to it.
No, I haven't seen it for a couple of years, so I'm so excited. Rob's thrown me under the bus. He's chucked me off the white tees, and I only found out standing amongst a sea of everyone else, and everyone else just looked at me and went, that must be her off the white tees.
Yeah.
So
You're
no, looking
off
forward
the
to
white tees. Well, I'm the only one playing.
so looking forward to it, can't wait.
It is the Junior Foundation Day here at the Glenelg Golf Club. Sophie, Rob, myself, about to take it on with Wallace Long. We'll see you out there on the course.
Okay, so we're at our first hole. This was the last one to open, just in early December. It's a great starting hole. It gives you a little bit of what's to come on the golf course. From the start here, we've got our water left and right. We've got our hybrid bunker. We've got our revetted bunkers further down, closer to the green. We've also got our sleeper wall around the 7th black tee, which we see further down the hole. We've also got all of our grasses from the bent, the cooch and the fescue around the greens. Really just a teaser and a taste of what's to come around the rest of the golf course.
Righto, Soph, we've just played the first, made a nice little 3. You got overruled as captain, which is pretty unfortunate for you. What do you make of it? It's one of the latest to be done. Looks starkly different off the tee.
Well, you would think me getting overruled as captain would put me in a bad mood straight off the bat, but how could you be in a bad mood playing that first hole? They've completely got rid of the mounding and the rough off the tee, which I think really made that fairway, used to make it look really narrow and a bit uninviting. They've completely got rid of that. It's all straight fairway, so you can hit whatever club you want to hit as close as you can get it. For those longer hitters, they've also put a pesky bunker just short left of that green, and it can really get you. It didn't get us in trouble. It was straight into the fan and we got nowhere near it.
And the first sign as well of the wood panelling on that bunker, that hybrid bunker they refer it to over on the right-hand side.
Yep, absolutely love it. I think Rob said it perfectly. The first hole kind of has every single element of what you're going to see at the Glenelg Golf Club.
Rob, we're on number 2, always been a tough hole, dogleg right to left. Just tell us a little bit about what the redevelopment has seen with this one.
Not too much change here, Ben. Like you said, pretty strong hole, long par 4. Just a little bit of change around the green, a couple of bunkers out and a new false bunker sort of 20 metres short of the green. Apart from that, pretty much as it was and still one of the harder holes on the golf course.
Still a complete ass kicker.
Absolutely.
Well, Soph, we've just played the second hole. Again, tough hole.
always has been one of the more difficult holes, certainly from a par 4 perspective. I think it's a par 5 for the women, whether they're off the reds or the whites. I do like the way I feel like the green is a lot more open. There's plenty of spots where there's no easy up and down, but everyone's got an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what I actually loved from the second tee block? You can go and look straight out to the 7th hole, and you can also see the 6th green. They've completely cut down some trees and they've created some mounding, which just means it's opened up the entirety of the course, which I love, because on the second hole straight away you can see what's coming in front of you and you get a real feel for the course.
That's a really good point you make, and there's a little bit of growing in still to do, but I think once those grass mounds that we're looking at now, sort of on the back right of the 6th green, that sort of then, we can see the first, and you look back around and you can see the 2nd and the 3rd just behind us. We're going to get a look at the 7th very shortly. Just the way everything is so opened up, and you just get those beautiful vistas all the way around the course now.
Yep, absolutely beautiful. Completely enjoying it, and we're only on the 2nd hole.
Well, Rob, we continue the theme of ass-kicker golf holes. The 3rd, it's always been a really tough one here at the Bay. Just take us through its evolution over the last 4 years.
Yeah, so long par 3, tough hole. The green has pretty much stayed as it was. Really good green, really good pin placements, and tricky green with a few humps through the middle. Bunkers changed slightly around the green, and the hole brings in the native vegetation pretty much for the first time through the fairway, so just past the tee block, just plantings, native vegetation, and some of the area will take a year or two to mature, and the course will get even better as we see that develop.
Par 3 3rd, Soph. It's always a bit of a brute, I reckon. I am thrilled if I can walk away with, I even normally take a 4 there, quite frankly. Looks a lot different, but plays just as tough.
Yeah, it plays completely just as tough. The 3rd par 3 is always a tough hole. It feels like it could end your round and it's only the 3rd hole. I don't think a single one of us hit the green, which is pretty embarrassing.
No, it didn't look like it, did we?
No, not at all. But look, we escaped with a par, but it was looking pretty grim. It came down to Wallace, who was the 4th one to hit for us to be able to get that par, and he put it nicely to about 2 foot.
Righto, Rob, we're on the 4th. One of my favourites, actually. I've always loved this hole. Good short par 4. Plenty of trouble around, so you can't just wail away anywhere. You've got to really think about where you're going to place the ball. Just take us through what's happened on this hole in the last few years.
Yeah, so good par 4, short, and a lot of risk and reward. Do you want to take driver off the tee? Like you said, there's a lot of trouble left and right, bunkers left, wasteland right. We also got the short bunker in the middle of the fairway, so very tricky and strategic hole. Most of the work's come around the green. There's new bunkers around the green, and the green has been changed significantly just to take into account the short par 4. So we've got a spine going through the middle of the green. It is tricky. The flag can be in some really tricky spots. So if you do get your good drive away, you can still end up with a big score depending on where the flag is and how your putting is on the day.
Righto, so for the 4th hole that I've always loved, you've just made a bomb for birdie on it, so I suspect that you quite like it. But just what are your first thoughts on 4?
Yeah, 4's great. I've always loved 4. It's always been one of my favourite holes on the golf course. It's a short par 4. It's pretty tricky though. You can choose to, there's a pot bunker right in the middle of the fairway, which is right in your way. It's a risky shot if you pull out driver because there is sand out to the right and then there's bunkering and rough out to the left-hand side. But if you risk it for the biscuit, you can get that birdie, which is exactly what we did.
Here's the thoughts now of Glenelg Golf Course architect Neil Crafter.
The brief that we were set by the club really was to do more with less bunkers, less revetting, but the more part, I think we've added considerably more closely mown turf out on the golf course, and I think that probably benefits the higher handicap golfers who have a better chance of their ball not finishing in the rough.
Now we get an opportunity with a par 5. This has always been a lovely par 5, sort of meanders along the western part of the course. Just tell us a little bit about the work that's gone on here.
Yeah, a lot of work on the 5th hole, probably the most work we did on any of the holes. We had an issue at the green and the 6th tee where we had safety issues with a lot of balls going over to the 6th tee, so we tried to separate those areas, and the architect Neil and Ryan did a good job at separating those, bringing the fifth tee back a little, putting a mound in. So we've solved those safety issues with balls going over to the sixth tee. That was a big part of the plan, like making areas safer for players, especially with the demand on golf these days. Through the fairway, you're right, we added a couple of bunkers, moved them a bit further down for the big hitters. So again, do you take driver off the tee or not? It is a short par 5, so do you want that longer shot in or a shorter shot into the green? It really depends on the pin position as well. There's a secret bunker behind the green. So if the flag is right, makes the hole really, really tricky. If the flag is left, it's a slightly easier hole. But yeah, just a lot of change to this hole. Bit of sleeper wall around our tee and a secret toilet, which people have to check out if they're playing Glenelg.
It looks like a bunker.
Absolutely.
If there's a nuclear attack, I know
absolutely, that's the place to hide. Good hole, short par 5, a lot of opportunity for birdie or even eagle. But again, depending on the pin placement on the day, we can make it tricky or as easy as we like.
So some incredible changes to the 5th. What did you make of the par 5?
I've loved it. It's such a tricky hole. That green is perfect for a par 5. It's slim, it's thin. My God, if they put a pin to that right, it's going to be super tough. Luckily today it was to the left and that was perfect for us. We did get a pretty easy bird in the end.
And a classic Neil Crafter, that depth perception bunker, that bunker that looks like it's right on the front edge of the green, but it's actually about 30, 40 metres short.
Yeah, I'm going to have to have a couple of words of Neil because he completely got me on that one. I thought, yeah, can't carry that bunk of a wood and stop it on the green, so I'll go out left. And I was pretty happy with my shot. And then I realised, oh, hang on a second, that bunk is about 40 metres off the green and I definitely could have easily got us onto the green safe and sound.
You're not the first and you won't be the last. Okay, Rob, 6th tee. My goodness, I've seen some incredible change here. I look out just over here to my left, back over to where the 5th green is. A lot of separation between these two holes. I think that's something you've said that historically you've had some challenges from a safety perspective. That looks amazing right from the start, the way the tee block has been segregated out from the 5th. There used to be...
The bunker left. There was a bunker left that's gone.
Yes, right. Yeah,
and there's still the bunkers on the right have been redone. So they were our first hybrid bunkers. The tee moved back all the way to the fence. So really long par 4 from the back. Our hardest hole on the golf course. And once you get down to the green, you see why it's index 1. The green is super hard, different layers. So if you can navigate your way down the fairway with a couple of good long shots, you get to the green and then you've got the challenge of the putting.
The fun's just started there.
Fun's just starting. So yeah, very different to what it was. Less bunkers around the green, but yeah, lots of levels and lots of layers, complex to it.
Well, Soph, we've just walked off the 6th green. There's a lot of changes that they've done to 6. It is an absolute brute. I can't believe the challenges around the green. So we've managed to get it up and down as an Ambrose team only just from that left-hand side. There's a very steep drop-off there. There's no fun over on the right-hand side either for a long hole. It's a big green. You miss anywhere, you are doing very well to scramble 4 out of that.
Yeah, do you know what I actually loved? It was a prime example. So like you said, we all missed the green. But we saw 4 completely different styles of playing a chip shot. You took out the Timu putter, which I quite enjoyed. Yes. I convinced Rob I wanted to see the chipper in play, and he put it to about 4 foot with the chipper. You saw me loft it up with a lob wedge, and then you saw Wallace coming in with a pitching wedge, trying to do a little low 2-hop jump. I think that's the absolute beautiful thing about Glenelg. Now that they've actually got rid of some of the bunkering around the green and made it more fairway, it's encouraging creativity, and my mind is just going wild on this golf course.
Rob's 7th is a real visual change. Looks completely different off the tee. Lost one of those 2 big bunkers on the right. Looks like there's a bunker on the left that's come out as well. It looks so much better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So big mound on the right was something we wanted to put in to take away the visual from the cars driving in. So that's worked also to protect, I guess, and take your eye to the left side of the hole, which has worked. The tee complex, a lot different, being dropped down a bit and taken back. We're excited about a new tee right at the back blocks on the
island
black, the island. So that's exciting. That'll be coming into play shortly. And then further up the hole, green complex pretty much the same as it was, and bunkers pretty much the same up near the green end. There's a lot of sandy waste up on the right-hand side of the hole now as well. So again, just taking you away from the right-hand side altogether, wanting to play down the left side.
Well, Soph, we've just walked off 7, a completely different look off the tee. I really like the way that I didn't love those 2 big bunkers that were sort of on the right that you could potentially clear or have to lay up of. What did you make of it as the star golfer of the group?
I don't know if I'm a star today, but look, I absolutely loved it. I think the mounds that they've put to block out the view of the car park is just superb. They've really pushed you out left, which now off the tee you used to be able to see a hint of the green, and it encouraged you to hit towards the car park, and it was a little bit dangerous. They've completely removed that now. They've cleared it up. They've made it more inviting to go down the left-hand side, and I love it. I think it's great. Rob, with the 7-iron again, little bunter to about 20 foot. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold this putt. Wow, that's 7-iron. I might need to get that in the bag.
Rob, we're taking a look at the 8th hole. We're about to play it. This has been the subject of numerous changes, I would think. There's been a few iterations of this over sort of the 15 years or so that I've been visiting Glenelg. Where are we at now?
Yeah, I guess this was the first hole that we worked on with the sandy waste area, Sandy Heath we call it. And just in front of the tee block, you've got the water and then this sandy heath. And it's something that the members try to hit over. It is tricky if you land in it. You do want to get over. Previously, we had the really long grasses in there, if you remember, and it used to chew up holes, slow down play. So we've opened it up. So with that sandy look now, it is tricky if you land in there. There's plenty of fairway to the left of that area, but members really, we try and hit over it, don't we? We don't want to lay up left. It is a good hole. It's visually spectacular with the water, with the sleeper wall. And then as you go up further towards the green, again, new bunkers there with a nice sleeper wall or in our hybrid bunker. The water's been stretched out on the left as well. A new bunker left of the water. So a lot of change to the hole, but still one of the favourites here at Glenelg.
Let's touch on 8, Soph. We're playing off the white tees here, and normally you'd be playing it off the yellows, which makes it a very short par 4, but also brings the left water into play. Gee, a fascinating different look. The grass bunker's gone. The mounding on the right-hand side looks spectacular and certainly a lot better than those casuarina trees that we've seen there in the past. From a playability perspective, what did you make of it?
I think it's awesome. Well, like you said, I normally play off the yellow tees, which makes it a bit of a straighter hole. This is more a dogleg right, which I haven't played before, and I loved it. The green complex is so cool. They've removed that grassy mound that used to be on the right-hand side and made it all fairway, which I think for members, that just means you've got so many other options to those greens.
Rob, we're halfway down the 9th. I haven't seen anything more visually striking than that. I've seen a lot of photos of this and couldn't quite get, my bearings on what had actually happened until I see it now. The left-hand side looks like a bit more of a bailout than perhaps it was, and some nice open puttable area to hit if you miss the green left. But gee, the water's in play on the right now, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we're taking out the bunker on the left of the fairway, so makes the tee shot a little bit easier, and everyone goes, wow, this is good, we can hit up the left. But little do you know, once you get your drive away and you're on the left-hand side, you got to shoot into the narrow green, which drops off to the right into the water pretty quickly. So left of the green is good, but anything that hits centre to right of the green just falls off into the water, so really, really tough. Like I said, there's the bailout area on the left, which a lot of us aim for. If you got it, there we go. We just saw Wallace hit the right and go into the water.
He went past it into that nasty little rough.
And then behind the hole, we've got our nice new pavilion as well, which is a great area to sit, have a drink, have a bite to eat, and watch some golf. It's really good. So if you're here spectating pennant or anything, it's the perfect place to be.
Well, so we've just stepped off 9. Visually completely different to what we've seen. It green has moved hard right and brought that water right into play. What did you think?
Do you know what I thought about this hole? 1, I outdrove you, which was awesome. 2, on my approach shot, I got inside you about 5 centimetres, and then we held the putt for birdie, and actually Ben Hook did not contribute once on this hole, so I think it's a beautiful hole.
Is that your
Love
putt
it.
as well?
It was not my putt, it was actually Wallace's putt, which is in my cart, so I gave him the line and everything.
Once I'd missed it, I walked off in disgust.
But in all seriousness, I love the changes here. They've removed the bunker on the left-hand side off the tee, which for a drawer of the ball, I used to absolutely hate that bunker. It was right in my way. But for everyone else, it's actually opened up and given them a little bit of a speed slot to go down and get a good run down towards the green. But gosh, that water's more in play, which is unfortunately a little bit inviting.
Here's a little more from course architect Neil Crafter.
This certainly wasn't rushed. I think we've had concepts for a good 10 or 15 years really circulating to eventually get to the point where the club was happy to press the button. One of the key drivers in all of this redevelopment was the installation of an up-to-date irrigation system. Tim, as the superintendent, has had to deal with a pretty much cobbled together irrigation system, and there were holes that still had the irrigation system that was in the course prior to the previous development in 1998. So there was a lot of impetus from a number of areas. It wasn't just the golf aspect, but really to look at the entire property.
Rob, we're on 10. Not a lot of change here.
No, not at all. Really good holes, strong holes. So kept the green as it is, bunkers as they are. So just returfed the green like we did on all holes and redid the bunkers and took one bunker out of the fairway on the right. But apart from that, identical to what it was.
Just tell us a little bit about how you carried out the work, because I imagine there's been a lot of work in-house. How did you structure that? Because you've got staff who are employed here to do work as it is.
Absolutely. So we sort of in COVID or out of COVID, as you remember 4 years ago, it was a tough little period there for a couple of years with COVID and restrictions. But we got a bit lucky with a guy called Ryan van der Veen in town, and we employed him onto our staff. He's a shaper, and he then worked with Neil Crafter to come up with a plan and come up with the budgets, and we decided to do all the work in-house. So it's been an enormous effort by Tim Warren, the course super, and the team. They were doing all the construction work on top of looking after the course proper for members every day. So enormous amount of work. We put on an extra 6 staff members during that time. And yeah, it's all been done in-house. I just can't thank them enough. And this course team should be super proud of what they achieved, because not many clubs have done that before. And no one has ever employed a shaper on the course before, so it was something new, and it's a model that other clubs are now looking at. I know Ryan's moved over to Mollymook in New South Wales, and they're doing a similar project to us and taking the 4 years to do the work, and we made that call so that we wouldn't impact the members. We played 18 holes for the majority of the time with our spare hole in play while one hole was out for 2 months. Then as we got towards the back end of the project, the members supported us moving on to 3 holes at once, and we did 3, 2, 3 to finish, just to finish off the job quicker. It really worked well for us, and we didn't have to shut the whole course like some clubs have done on the eastern states. And with golf as popular as it is, we didn't want to impact that flow and the incoming members. Our wait list went from nothing to 10 years it is now, so we didn't want to stop that boom in golf.
10 Soph, not a heck of a lot of change than perhaps where you've seen it last. Gee, I like the hole though. It's probably because it's a bit of a left-hander's hole. There's a bunker on the right, but it does sort of play to a bit of a left-hander's fade a bit.
It definitely does play towards a left-hander, but you know what? You didn't really need to change much with this hole. It's great. The green complex is so difficult. I wasn't thrilled when Rob said he 4-putted there on the weekend, but we managed to get the 2-putt and run away over par.
11's been done a little while, I recall, but this is another one of those areas where you've taken out that fescue grass bunker.
Absolutely, just to speed up play predominantly. Obviously tough bunkers on the right, fescue hollow on the left, people were just going left and right. That's sort of gone away now, and people can move through this area without holding anyone up. It's still tough for the good players to chip or to putt from this left-hand side. Yeah, still really strong hole. It's one of our feature holes and good par 3.
100%, yeah, one of the iconic ones coming up the hill, up to this beautiful rise.
Actually on the highest point in the Adelaide Plains, so I don't know if you know that.
No one does know that, yeah.
12th tee here, highest point in the Adelaide Plains.
Anyone accuses you of being pancake flat.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good view, and we've actually worked with some Ghana people as well here to tell us the history of the area, and the Ghana people used to camp out here and fish and have holidays with their families, and they used to actually signal to people to the city, to the beach from this point up here. So it was good to learn about that history.
Okay, so Rob, here we are on the 12th, and we've got a decent drive away, and I reckon I can just start to see now that I reckon we might have about 10 foot for eagle here, so this is a little bit exciting. But just take us through the evolution of the 12th, because this has had a bit of work to it, back and forth over the years, hasn't it?
It has been, and firstly, you had a good shot there, good second shot, mate. Well done. So yeah, short par 5 and a lot of work sort of at the green end of the hole, not too much at the tee. We've done some work to the left-hand side of the hole with the bunkering. We've got our hybrid bunker on the left there and a bit of the Sandy Heath area, and trying to take people away to the right-hand side. We do have our nursery to the left of this hole as well, so keeping people to the right. And then a second shot in, which has some tricks to it, depending where the flag is. We've got our little mound, vegetated mound to the left of the green. We've got a knob in the right middle of the green, and then the green feeds around the knob to the right-hand side. So you could actually be at the front of this green and not have a putt to the flag, which is a bit interesting, and it was a bit controversial with the members, but they've got used to it, and we don't play the back right flag very often, but it is interesting for a club champs final or a pennant match or some medal rounds for our members. It's always a bit of fun, and any visitors that come along, they always love this green, and I'm a real fan of it, to be honest, because short par 5, you do need to trick it up a little bit at the green.
No doubt. And, I claimed about 10, 12 foot. I'm looking at it now, it's about 40 feet. So unfortunately not as close as we thought, but who knows, we might be able to roll one in. Well, Rob, we're just pulling up alongside the 13th tee, and this is, I believe, the first iteration of these sort of vertical sleepers that work as almost like retaining walls, I suppose.
Correct. So this is where the architects came up with the idea of trialling the sleepers, and we all loved it. Committee and I and the architects all said, absolutely, let's go for it. And it sort of created a unique experience on this 13th tee. And as the years and the work went on through the rest of the course, we actually adopted that throughout the course. And as you know, you drive in you see it on the 9th, you see it on the 5th tee, and you see it in a number of areas now, and it's almost become a feature of Glenelg.
So, Rob, let's continue the conversation. We've just finished playing the 13th, but just take us through the work you did on 13, in particular with the elevation of the green, because it did interact a lot with that water on the left-hand side.
It did. So again, 13 green was one that we had a lot of problems with drainage and water level. So we've lifted that green up about half a metre. It's also moved back, it was about 20 or 30 metres back into the hill, so it created a bit like a crater behind it, and that's all vegetated now, which looks great. The water on the left has come into play so much more with the removal of the left bunker, greenside bunker, which was protecting balls going into there. And the grass is being the cooch around, and the surrounds are being cut down, and balls trickle straight into that water. So the left water is much more in play. There's a short right bunker, a greenside bunker now as well, making the green pretty tough with a long approach shot.
14, Soph. I really love what they've done with the green surrounds here. I think it's a far more interesting, entertaining hole.
Yeah, and actually they've cut out a lot of trees here, so it's more wind exposed, which I think is great for a par 3. I think it makes it really challenging. It is quite a big green surrounded by bunkers, so once you put wind in there as well, played a factor today.
Rob, we've come off the back of the 14th green, and I think this is the real triumph of the redevelopment, what we've seen through 15, 16, 17. It's just what you expect the Glenelg Golf Course to be. Yes, the pine trees are here, but it's just this beautiful open routing. You've got the water that really feels like it's more exposed and in play now. This feels like a really, rugged, seaside, pristine, what you expect of this sort of golf course now. It is really just first class what I'm seeing in front of me here.
Yeah, it really is. This was probably the biggest transformation out of the whole course. This is where we decided to do 3 holes at once, and it started with the amount of dirt we had to bring in. So it was 10,000 tonne that came in, and it came from Cooper Stadium, believe it or not, where Adelaide United play their soccer, and they had to redo the pitch, and we needed the dirt, so win-win for both of us. Yeah. So the 10,000 tonne of dirt came in, and we managed to really change these holes significantly. A lot of trees came out again, a lot of casuarinas. It was like a forest out here, and now it's all opened up. It's sort of taken it back to that linksy feel, and that's what we wanted to do with the entire development. Take it back to the links style and the sand dunes, and take it back to what it was 100 years ago. Next year's our centenary, so really a bit of a feel of how it was back then with those sandy dunes and sandy heath in play, and out here the links style. So it takes time. This area still needs some time to mature. We've planted a few stone pines around the place, still a bit of vegetation to come in, but it really is a significant change. And the water hazards, again, are a lot more in play. They used to be overrun with reeds and weeds and plants and a heap of stuff. You couldn't even see the water, whereas now it's all being cleaned out. It's not a cheap exercise, clearing the water hazards out, but it's important for the club. They are our wetlands, and now the water's in play, and the holes are actually built with the wetlands in mind, whereas when the wetlands were built, they were just added to the holes that were here, whereas now the holes really play to the water, and 17's an example of that, 15's an example of that. The par 3 16th, a bit of an island green, and maybe an area that we can improve one day with the sleeper wall would look good, that we're talking about, but not confirmed as yet, but it would sort of stand out. When we started this project, I was saying we were in the midst of COVID, and you didn't really know how golf was going to go and how the industry was moving, but as we went on over the years, obviously membership improved, the finances improved, and we were able to do a few of those extra nice things like the sleeper walls coming in around the 9th green, and a few nice features to the course which we can go back and incorporate maybe at some stage later down the track.
Whole new world at 15th hole. Here we are, Soph. Geez, I'm impressed with the outlook of these 3 holes. We're standing sort of about to make an approach on 15 now. I feel like I've elevated. There's just visually, it really is stunning.
Yeah, it's awesome off the tee. I completely fell in love with this hole. Being able to see the green as well as the 16th par 3 green from the tee block, completely opening it up, again, taking out more trees. Hell though, I thought Wallace smokes his tee shot and was going to be prime position, but he's almost gone into the bunker. It's a real risk reward. If you want to take on driver, your line's pretty tight.
Here's a little more from Neil Crafter and Bob Tuohy.
Bob and I were first involved during the 98 to 2004 redevelopment, and in that project we certainly discovered that we thought quite similarly about golf and golf courses, and so it wasn't a difficult process really. We were quite like-minded, and I think this time round we were as well, but we also had Ryan van der Veen, who was the club's construction manager and shaper, but the club also wanted to capitalise on his abilities as a golf course architect. So really there were 3 of us responsible from a design perspective. So I entered into that in the right frame of mind, that we wanted to make it a good collaborative process, and Ryan was very much of the same approach, as was Bob. So we didn't find we had too many disagreements. At no stage did we come to blows or anything, so it was pretty good. Bob, you'd like to add to that?
How true is that, Bob?
But this goes back some time, really. I think it was the AG, I don't know how many years ago, but Ian Simons, then captain, now passed. He was a really good guy. After the AGM here one night, he said, Bob, I want to talk to you. I just become captain. I want you to reorganise the golf course. I said, that's great, mate. I'll go and think about it. So off I went, had a think. And the big reason for the ask was that our golf course was completely overgrown with kikuyu grass. It was really quite a disaster. It was very serious at the time, as the club will remember. So that started the whole process. In the end of the day, I was very busy up to here in tournaments, here in China, Asia, all over the place. And I said at the time to the committee, Ian, that I can't take on the job or take any responsibility whatsoever on a full-time basis. So I would suggest Mr. Crafter. Neil was engaged, his company was engaged as a full-time person, and I remained a friend and a backup to Neil, was in a co-situation as an advisor and in a support role. And we've worked in harmony in all these years to bring it to where it is today. And I'm very proud of that, and Neil and Ryan have done a great job.
"16, Rob, as we go along. Do you feel like the water's a whole lot more in play? And a sneaky little backdoor bunker.
It is. It's a good bunker. It's a tough bunker. You don't want to be in there and tripping out towards the water. especially with fast greens. Very different. Obviously had a lot of trees around casuarinas again through here. We've cleaned up. There's a bit of a mound left-hand side of the fairway, which any short shots sort of feed to the right into the water. But again, good par 3, challenging, especially on a windy day.
And you got that elevated tee, which is relatively new, and gee, we've just been up there having a look. How spectacular is that?
Yeah, great view from up there. We've been playing it on this for the 16th hole quite regularly through comp rounds, but we could also use it as a tee for the 17th hole, which we haven't tried yet. We've got to build a path that goes up there, but it will be good. And like you said, the view from there is awesome, especially for pennant golf or any other events. You can see the 15th, 16th, 17th holes easily.
And 16 tee, there are so many different teeing options. It can play anything from a bit of a flip wedge right through to almost a mid-iron from the back there into the wind.
Correct. It can be an easy sort of 100-metre par 3 and right back 150-metre par 3 from different angles. It's really good options there for us, and spread the wear a little bit as well.
16, what'd you make of it? The water feels like it's a lot more in play, and that cheeky bunker behind.
Well, we've got to talk about your walk-up song. Loved it. I'm a Barbie girl. Perfect.
I had the choice, apparently. They were going to give me Barbie Girl or the Port Adelaide Never Tear Us Apart song. So I'm very comfortable with Barbie Girl. Thank you very much.
Nah, absolutely loved it. 16th's great. It's got a little cheeky bunker on the back of the green, which we didn't see. Again, thought Wallace hit a perfect shot and it's rolled into that green, which you can't see from the tee block. But exposing that water and making it more of an element, removing that bunker from the front right, I love it. I think the 16th is a great hole. They've also got an extra tee block, which Rob went and showed us. It's perfect for spectators. I think we might be hosting the Interstate Series at Glenelg. Not sure, so I'm happy to be corrected on that one. It would be a perfect spectating position for pennant or any sort of match play or competition at Glenelg Golf Club.
17, Rob, very, very different look off the tee, and just a complete overhaul around the green.
So yeah, once we drive off the tee, we get to basically the fairway bunker in the middle, big fairway bunker. If you take it on, you're in a pretty good position, but left of that, again, feeds into the water, and it's the best shot into the green near the water's edge if you're brave enough to do it.
So if we've just rounded up at 17, gee, that's become a really tough hole. I don't know where you hit it off the tee. The second is not much easier. It's done superbly.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's the one hole that I would really like to go back out and play. I hit driver okay today. It's the first time I stood on the tee and thought, I've got no idea where to hit this ball, particularly off the white tees. Off the red tees, I think I'd be fine, and I've duck hooked it straight into the water. A little Hilditch special, the duck hook, so unfortunately I wasn't pumped with that result. It's now a par 4, and I absolutely love it. The green complex is great. Again, they've just cut out a lot of those bunkers around the greens and given their members a bit more shot decisions to be made around.
Just to wrap it up, Soph, 18, I've always been a believer that in South Australia we don't have a lot of great par 5s. This might be the best par 5 in South Australia, and I think the fact that the water is really a whole lot more exposed now and in play, there's more of that sandy waste and less of the casuarina and those sorts of shrub-type hazards that are normally on the right-hand side of the hole or have previously been on the right-hand side of the hole, is a great win.
I think you just like 18 because you completely smoked your tee shot, and it was one of the tee shots we got to pick, but God, was it smoked. We birdied this hole, so it's probably another reason why you like it. I think the 18th hole is great. It's a good finish hole, finished right in front of the clubhouse. So we could hear all the members starting to do their pre-drinks for lunch and looking out. There's a bit of heckling coming from the balcony, which is also always good fun. Ben, I think the final 6 holes at Glenelg is some of the best 6 holes in the state. I've completely enjoyed my time at Glenelg Golf Club. I cannot wait to play pennant at Glenelg. I think it's perfect for match play. There's a lot of risk reward around here. There's a lot of decisions to be made that can win and lose matches. Glenelg have done a fantastic job. Their members should be incredibly proud. Rob kept saying about how their members have been so patient with this redevelopment and haven't minded dropping down to 16 or 17 holes, which they did for 4 straight years. I think it was well worth the wait. This course is amazing. I can't wait to play it again, which, you know, you don't often have that feeling walking off a golf course, particularly when you might have not played your best golf. But I think that is an absolute treat. They have so many tee options.
Yep.
So I think every single day is going to be completely different. Women, men, you can play off any tee you like here, which is also great. Changes the course completely. I can't thank Glenelg Golf Club for hosting us any more than I can right now.
I often walk off an event like this and I think, well, I'm glad to be off the course, but I really would love to be going around again a second time. I think there were so many parts to it that I really enjoyed looking at and would love to see a second time, or try a shot from here, or can I actually cover that bunker next time? 5 is a classic example. I thought, I thought I've hit a pretty good drive there, put it in the bunker. How would I play it next time? Would I go further right? Would I go further left and, take on the rough rather than the bunker itself? So many amazing experiences over the course of 18 holes that have encouraged me to say I want to have another crack at this course as soon as I possibly can. And I tell you what, Soph, I'm really looking forward to seeing, maybe it's probably 4 or 5 years before it'll start to drift through, but when the Golf Digest and the Golf Australia magazine and the Australian Golf Passport course raters all start to turn up, it's going to be fascinating to see the movement north for Glenelg, because I expect it to be quite profound.
I think Glenelg Golf Club, the course now really suits the name. It looks like a course that should be at Glenelg Golf Club. It should be near the beach. It is completely linksy. They've made the wind so much more exposed, and I absolutely love this course. The redevelopment has been incredible, and I completely agree with your position.
Well, Soph, we've enjoyed it. Wallace has done some incredible work. It was great to have Rob along with us. Thanks so much for everything you've contributed to our thoughts on this course. Let's go up and have some lunch.
Yeah, let's go and enjoy some vinos. I don't think we're lifting the trophy, but the vinos will be well enjoyed.
That'll have to satisfy us.
Well, that's a wrap on our visit to the Glenelg Golf Club. We trust you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed putting it all together. Thank you to everyone at the club for assisting with this project, from access to vision and photos, and especially to Rob and Neil for their expert insights. For more details, check out the links in our show notes or our webpage, hookedonsport.com.au. And if you'd like the Hooked on Sport crew to review your club, we'd love an invite. Simply reach out via our website, email address, or social media channels. Hope to see you again soon at Hooked on Sport.